So in my Dragon Ball Super episode 78 review, I actually did not mention the Super Dragon Balls being a big factor in that episode. And the reason for that's because I wanted to do a separate discussion, a separate video about the Super Dragon Balls. Because the Super Dragon Balls involvement in the Universe Survival arc is something that a lot of us have been thinking about since the arc started as a possible way out, so to speak. But the more I think about it, the more I'm starting to think that it seems a little too easy and a little too telegraphed for this arc to end the way that a lot of people think it's going to end after seeing the Super Dragon Balls. And for those who don't know, who might not be aware, careful for spoilers about episode 78, by the way. In episode 78, we found out that the winner of the Universe Survival arc, not the winning universe, just the winning participant, whatever that means, is going to get the Super Dragon Balls. Now, a lot of people immediately said, boom, that's their way out. If Zeno destroys the other 11 universes, Goku or whoever wins is going to use the Super Dragon Balls to wish them all back, and we live happily ever after. Because during the tournament, they're probably all going to hate Goku because he's the one who started this whole thing. And to redeem himself, he will do that. I think that's a little too simple. So joining me to talk about this discussion, or to have this discussion with me about the possible end of the Universe Survival arc and what the Super Dragon Balls will actually do, please welcome back Dimsy to the channel. How are you, Dimsy?
Fine, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. And just, Dragon Ball Super 78. It's funny because I didn't mention it in the review because I was like, we can't, because if I talked about it in the review, it would be another 10 minutes, right? But here, or more, because there's so many things to talk about here. So I wanted to make it a separate discussion, which is why you're here. Now, in episode 78, we saw the Super Dragon Balls. Even before the tournament arc started, we all thought that what they were going to do, or some of us did, is Goku's going to win this fucking thing and then redeem himself by wishing back all the universes. I still think that there's something more to this. I don't think it's going to be that simple. Toriyama does not tend to telegraph these endings as much as you think that he does. So he likes to throw in twists and turns. I think before that even happens, somebody else, a new villain, maybe somebody from one of the other universes, is going to steal the Super Dragon Balls, and that will segue into the next arc. Now, I know some people are thinking, well, wait a minute. How can they do that if the universe is destroyed? Well, remember what we found out in episode 78. The tournament is going to be taking place in a separate realm. It's a separate realm outside of the 12 universes. So if the gods of destruction, the angels, and the warriors are going to be in that realm, I think it's possible that if their universes get destroyed, they won't even be there. They'll be in that realm, and that leads me to believe that it's possible that it could lead to a villain taking the balls and that segueing into the next arc. What do you think?
I think that if that is the case, then the villain who is from the respective universe that gets destroyed has to kind of be eliminated early, so they kind of make their motives and make their plan. And that's kind of weird because that means that the villain or the person who may or may not, may steal this the Super Dragon Balls for whatever malicious intentions, isn't going to be super duper strong. So there is that, and what wish they're going to do or what purpose they're going to use the Super Dragon Balls for is still a tad weird. Regarding the whole telegraphing of the arc, if Goku is the final winner and he gets to redeem himself like a redemption arc with the Super Dragon Balls, it's a bit weird because I know how Toriyama likes to, let's say, mask things, but just like the Universe 6 vs Universe 7 tournament, or just like in general with the whole Zeno button, it might be a red herring which is kind of disguised in plain sight. I don't think that is going to be the final end goal, but it is very possible for it to be the final end goal because we might just forget it if we are introduced to all of these different characters. But one thing I do want is if they use the Super Dragon Balls as motivation for this other character, therefore giving a good backstory, a good motivation, because of the fact that we're going to have, 100 odd characters introduced, I kind of want them all to have a decent amount of backstory or motivation explained throughout the arc.
Well, you're dreaming. I am dreaming already.
Dreaming.
They're not going to get, only a couple of them will. And the thing is, I find it very hard to believe that all of these fighters from all of these different universes are noble guys. See what I'm saying? You're going to have some dickheads in there. Frost is confirmed to come back. He's a dickhead, right? He would steal the Super Dragon Balls if he could. I mean, he tried to steal the cube in the Universe 6 tournament. We've got probably characters from other universes who I feel aren't just going to let Goku, use the Super Dragon Balls and for his own selfish ways. Now, I'm not saying he would, but they might presume that he would. Somebody else might step up and just steal the balls. Now, we found out in the previous 2 arcs ago, we found out that only whoever speaks the language of the gods will steal the balls. And you and I did a video, or not will steal the balls, can summon the dragon, speak to the dragon. Now, here's my whole question, or my whole idea here. You and I did a video about the Daishinkan possibly being a villain, and we talked about how it's possible that the whole righteous angel or righteous devil thing that they're talking about in the outro, could it be possible that maybe one of the angels, I'm not saying it'll be the Daishinkan, one of the angels from one of the other universes who does know the language of the gods would be the one to steal it because they're concerned about their universe getting wiped out or something? I mean, I just think that, okay, do you think, Dimsy, do you feel that them showing the Super Dragon Balls in episode 78, do you think that telegraphed the ending of this arc too early? Do you think that they fucked up and that if Goku does wish for the other universes back at the end of the arc, it just kind of makes the whole thing, a moot point? Like, no consequences? I mean, I'm kind of used to no consequences in Dragon Ball, but it just seems too easy. You know what I mean?
I think we are being a bit optimistic because at the end of the day, regarding the other past or previous 75 episodes of Dragon Ball Super, if there's anything that we've learned is that they do find a lot of ways to let us down. So the inclusion of the Super Dragon Balls in that episode, I think, was not necessary because of the fact that we were showcased all these different characters and new designs. So they should have kind of saved that for at least the official start of the Tournament of Power. But I think that there is a possibility, if this is the case, they completely messed up one of the main things regarding the Universe 6 vs Universe 7 tournament, and just tournaments in general in Dragon Ball, and well, especially in Super. There is very little tension, there is very little cost. I know the whole fact that they're gonna destroy the universe, but then correct me if I'm wrong, but they did say if the Omni Kings, if Zeno decides that the universes were not performing to their best, then he may destroy them. So there is a possibility that they might not destroy the losing universe all the time.
Yeah, it's not very clear yet. There are still some, because the thing is also that Zeno may change his mind, and the other thing too is that there's 2 Zenos, and I was thinking about this also, Dimsy. I feel like if Goku does get the Super Dragon Balls and wish the other 11 universes back, I wonder if one of the Zenos may look at that as kind of being disrespectful because, okay, we just blew these up and you're just undermining what we did. Like, I am very curious about that. And our friend Real to Real Mark also thought that maybe the fact that we're seeing the Super Dragon Balls again could end up leading to the possibility of Zarama actually appearing in the series. Because, you know, we've seen the Super Dragon Balls used to wish back Earth. We've seen them used for Zamasu's evil intentions, but we haven't seen them used for anything that's really, like, I guess, noble. And I have a feeling that maybe if somebody does steal them, it could end up leading to Zarama. I'm just kind of spitballing ideas out there, you know. I don't know for sure.
And if we're going to spitball ideas, then we could then look, if they are going to telegraph the whole arc like that, and if the final wish is, let's say, Goku wishing and reviving all the other universes, and that annoys and pisses off at least one of the Zenos, and that is the perfect launching pad for another arc. If they do it like that, I am completely fine with that. And regarding
because then it segues to the next story.
And
you know?
regarding the whole Zarama, whatever you call him, the thing with him is, he hasn't been included in the series as of yet. They've mentioned him when they first introduced the Super Dragon Balls, and you could just assume that, oh, he'd like to keep to himself, and maybe he just doesn't like the current god hierarchy. Remember, he was very annoyed when the Namekians shaved off pieces of the Super Dragon Balls, and he just doesn't like people who steal, or he did not like, from what I remember, that he got annoyed, or not annoyed, but...
Did they actually say he was annoyed?
Not him being annoyed, it's just the fact that the normal Dragon Balls are shavings off the Super Dragon Ball. So I assume.
Oh, you think he might be annoyed?
Yeah,
I'm
assuming that he might be annoyed. But the point being is, if I'm trying to build this is me theorizing. So guys, please take that to know. If they're gonna build up his character, he could just be those kind of. He's like the adult, and he's thinking to himself, why is everything the king of all very childish, and therefore you could set up this feud between the Omni Kings or the Omni King, well, the Omni King, since there's two of them, and Zarama, and that's how we can segue to the next story point, which involves the Super Dragon Balls as being, once again, this is a way to make them
the catalyst for problems, right?
Catalyst for problems, but also being the focal point. I do think that they included the Super Dragon Balls right from the onset. I thought it was a bit too early. I thought, okay, cool.
Actually, you're not the only one. Several people were hitting me up about this. That's why I'm even doing this video. I decided to make this a separate video because it's too deep of a discussion discussing my review. We have to, that's why we're doing this. It seems too obvious, Dimsy. And I want to get everybody's thoughts in the comments, okay? Cause finish your point first, and now I'll talk to the people. What were we gonna say? Sorry.
No, just the main point being that if it is that obvious as you said, and if it is the case, but if they use it as a launching pad for another story arc, I am fine with that. But it being introduced at the very beginning of essentially the main tournament itself is a bit weird. However, I believe that what they're trying to do is they are hoping, and if they do pad it out for a long period of time, because I hope it is longer than the Future Trunks arc, I think that they kind of want us to forget about the Super Dragon Ball's inclusion through the sheer amount of fights that are going to be, fought out throughout the tournament itself. But still saying that, oh yeah, by the way, the winner gets the Super Dragon Balls is a bit weird. I think it's just very weird.
Yeah, I think like I said, it's too telegraphed. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Do you think that, again, I know a lot of you guys probably thought what we thought, which is, Goku's going to wish them all back. What's the point or whatever. I still think more is going to happen. Let me know your thoughts. I don't think Dragon Ball would telegraph it this obviously. Dragon Ball loves to have twists and turns and things like that. I just don't see this being the outcome. Let me know. Do you think I'm crazy? And if you do, I respect that because I probably am. What do you think? Let us know. And check out Dimsy's domain. I'll leave a link to his channel down below. Thank you so very much, and we'll talk to y'all later.